And this is the Rove R2-4K Dashcam, which features Wi-Fi and app compatibility, as well as the ability to have park monitoring without hardwire, and high frame rate, which can allow you to play the videos back in slow motion in case you wanted to capture a license plate of something that's moving really fast. And on this video, I'm gonna give you a complete tour of the setup menu for this dashcam, as well as my personally recommended settings to run this on. And I have previously reviewed this dashcam on the channel, so if you guys wanna see that full review for it, I'll put a link to it in the description down below, along with a link to this dashcam in case you wanna get one for yourself. And to access the menu, I'm gonna press menu, and then I'm gonna use the arrow to go down to resolution and hit OK. And the highest resolution setting is 2880 by 2160 at 24 frames per second. However, I can decrease the resolution if I wanted to fit more into the memory card, and you can see that we can go as low as 1280 by 720. But also notice that we could also change the resolution if we wanted to film in high frame rate. For example, this resolution right here runs at 120 frames per second. This can potentially allow you to run a video in slow motion in case you wanted to see something like a license plate. However, my personal choice is gonna be this one right here, 2560 by 1440, because this gives me a high resolution and also a 30 frames per second rate, which I think is pretty good. And the next option is loop recording. Dashcams record video continuously, but they segment that video into smaller manageable chunks of video, and here you can select how long you want those chunks of video to be: 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes. There is no incorrect setting on here, just a matter of preference. I like 3 minutes, that way I don't end up with too many little 1-minute files. And you can also choose to turn it off. However, I do not recommend to turn off loop recording. If you turn off loop recording, the dashcam is going to record video continuously until the file size reaches a 4 GB size, which is a long video file. Then it'll open up another video file, again reaching all the way up to 4 GB in size, over and over until the memory card gets full, and at that point the recording is gonna stop. Obviously, you do not want to have the dashcam stop recording, so my recommendation is to keep loop recording on, because this allows the dashcam to record the video continuously, segment the video so it's manageable, but also overwrite the old videos so you always have fresh video, the one that matters. The old videos that didn't matter can be deleted automatically by the dashcam by keeping loop recording on. And the next option is gonna be wide dynamic range. Now by default, this is gonna be on and it's gonna provide the best picture quality. However, you could turn that off if desired. I like to leave mine on. And the next option is gonna be exposure. If you feel that the video recorded by the dashcam is too bright, you can decrease the brightness of that video all the way up to -2 points. Same thing if you feel that the dashcam video is too dark, you can gradually increase the video brightness all the way up to a maximum of 2 points. However, I find that this dashcam doesn't really need adjustment. I leave mine on 0. And the next option is gonna be time-lapse record. Instead of having the dashcam record normal video, you can turn on the time-lapse and it's gonna capture a lot of time, many hours, and compress those into a smaller video. Now you can select how many images per second you want on that time-lapse: 1 image per second, 2 images per second, or 4 images per second. If you select 1 image per second, the time lapse is gonna be somewhat choppy. If you go to 2 images per second, it's gonna be smoother. And if you go to 4 images per second, it's gonna be the smoothest option for time lapse. However, for normal driving, most people do not turn on time lapse. I don't turn it on, so I leave this off so the dashcam can record normal video. But if you're looking to monitor your car 24 hours, then the dashcam will have to be hardwired, and now you can enable 24-hour parking mode. And now we can enable time-lapse parking mode. When you turn the car off, the dashcam is gonna begin to record a time lapse, but if somebody were to impact the vehicle, the camera is gonna sense that, it's gonna switch from a time lapse and it's gonna turn on and record normal video, and then turn off and go back into time-lapse mode. That way you have coverage of all the time that you were away from the vehicle during the time lapse, but also when somebody impacted the vehicle in normal video. The other option is to run it on motion detection. When we turn the car off, the dashcam is only gonna record when it detects movement, somebody walking by in front of the camera. And also, if somebody were to impact the vehicle, again, the camera can sense that somebody impacted the car, is gonna switch for motion detection, and is gonna switch to recording normal video just to record that instance, and then it's gonna go back to motion detection mode. And the next option is gonna be record audio. You can have this dashcam record only video if you turn off the microphone. However, I think audio is an important piece of evidence, so I like to have the audio recorded. And the next option is gonna be stamp. And this is the information that is recorded on the video that the dashcam records. And here you can customize what information you want on that video. You can turn off the date and time. You can turn off your speed if you don't want to have your speed shown. You can also turn off your coordinates if you do not want to have evidence of where you've been. And you could also turn off the Rove logo. However, I think the date and the time, I think the speed and the GPS coordinates are all important pieces of evidence, so I leave all of those stamps on. And the next option is gonna be G sensor, which allows the dashcam to detect that you got into a car crash when you were driving or somebody crashed into you. And here you can select how sensitive you want the dashcam to be to detecting that impact. If you select 1, any small impact is gonna trigger the dashcam into thinking that you got into a car crash. And you can go as high as 9. If you go as high as 9, it's gonna take a very large impact for the dashcam to detect that you got into a car crash. Now, I don't recommend you run this at the highest setting, because if you run this on low, which means every single movement of the car is gonna trigger the dashcam into thinking that you got into a car crash, potentially you might be driving and a speed bump or you closing the door or opening the door is gonna make to think the dashcam that you got into a car crash. So I would recommend experimenting starting at 5 and then adjusting from here either up or down until you find the sweet spot where the dashcam is not being triggered constantly, but is gonna be sensitive enough to detect when you get into a real car crash. Alternatively, you could also choose to turn off the G sensor, but if you turn it off, the dashcam is not gonna flag the video of your car crash and you can potentially lose that video. So I would recommend that you do turn on the G sensor. Again, start at 5 and adjust from there. And the next option is gonna be the speed unit, and here you can select kilometers per hour or miles per hour. And the next option is gonna be to hide the icons, which are shown when you are driving. If you only wanna see video and you don't care for the icons, you can select to turn those off after 1 minute, after 3 minutes, or after 5 minutes. The icons don't really bother me because they actually tell me what options I selected on my dashcam, so I keep this option off. And the next option is gonna be speed. The dashcam can show us our speed when we are driving, but if we do not want to see our speed, we can turn that off. And the next option is gonna be video correction. This dashcam uses a wide angle lens like most dashcams, and it may make the video look a little bit like a fisheye or a fishbowl, somewhat curved around the corners. However, the dashcam can correct for that digitally if you turn distortion correction on. However, I don't really see much distortion on this video when I record it off this dashcam, so I keep the distortion correction off. And the next option is gonna be to rotate the video. If for some reason I install the dashcam upside down, I can still use it by turning the screen upside down as well. However, most people are gonna install their dashcams in the correct side up, so I'm gonna turn this off. But now let's move over to the system settings by pressing the menu option one more time, and we are now in system settings. And the very first option is gonna be to turn on the Wi-Fi if we wanted to connect to the app. The next option is gonna be the date and time, where we can change the time or we can change the date. However, this information is gonna be automatically populated by the GPS, so I don't really change the time. I let the GPS set it by itself. The next option is gonna be the format of how we want the date to be displayed. Again, here is just gonna be a personal choice of how you want your date to be displayed. And the next option is gonna be clock format. And here you can select between 24-hour format or 12-hour format, which will show AM, PM. And the next option is gonna be the GPS time zone setting. We know that this can actually set the time and the date for you automatically from the GPS, but we have to tell the dashcam what our time zone is, basically where we are located, otherwise it can potentially set the incorrect time or the incorrect date. And the next option is gonna be screensaver. You can have the screen stay on all the time, or you can have the screen turn off after 1 minute and the dashcam is gonna continue recording while the screen is off. You could also select screensaver on after 1 minute. The dashcam is gonna continue recording, but now you're gonna be presented with a screensaver that contains essential information so you're not distracted by the video that is being recorded. And the next option is gonna be beep sound. If I turn this off, I'm able to move through the menu and no sound comes from me pressing any of the buttons. However, if I turn this on, you get a click sound when we move through the menu. And the next option is gonna be speaker volume. Here you can select whether you want the sounds that you're hearing coming from the dashcam, including the video that's playing back from the dashcam, to be low, medium, or high. This also is gonna adjust the volume of the startup sound that you hear when the dashcam first turns on. So if you want to hear that startup sound, but you don't want to have it be too loud, you can select low. And if you do not want to hear the startup sound at all when your dashcam turns on, you can select to turn off the boot up tone. And the next option is gonna be the languages, and I'll scroll through here so you can see the potential choices in case you wanted to change the language of this dashcam. And the next option is gonna be TV mode. If you connect this dashcam directly to the TV, you want to select the correct format. NTSC if you're in the United States, or PAL if you are in Europe. And the next option is gonna be license plate, that allows you to enter your license plate information in case you wanted to have this information shown directly on the video. And the next option is gonna be frequency, and you wanna set this at 60 Hz if you're in the United States, or 50 Hz if you are in Europe. And what this does, this is gonna reduce any flickering from any lights that you may potentially encounter. And there's nothing to change in the next option. This just shows you the number of satellites that have been acquired by the GPS and your current coordinates. The next option is gonna be storage space, that allows you to see the total amount of memory that you have in the dashcam, how much of it is free, how much is consumed by accident video recordings, and how much of it is consumed by normal videos where nothing really interesting happened, or pictures that you might have taken with your dashcam. And the next option is gonna be to delay the dashcam from turning off when we turn off the car. Normally, when we turn off the car, the dashcam is gonna turn off. That is the default setting. However, you can select to keep the dashcam running for an additional 5 seconds, an additional 10 seconds, 20, 30 seconds, or 1 minute. Now remember, the battery in here is very small, so if you select 1 minute, now you are using up the battery that is normally used for parking monitoring. So if you want to maximize the use of parking monitoring, I would recommend you turn this off so the dashcam can turn off and enter parking mode. Now if your dashcam is hardwired, feel free to turn this on because it won't affect how much time this camera can monitor your car, since we are pulling power from the hardwire kit as opposed to from the internal battery of the dashcam. And the next option is gonna be format reminder. Most dashcams are gonna record and work better if you format the memory card regularly. And here you can select how often you want the dashcam to remind you to format the memory card, or you can turn that reminder off altogether. And the next option is to format the memory card, which, as I mentioned earlier, should be done regularly to make sure that the dashcam operates smoothly. However, it is also recommended to use this option when a brand new memory card has been installed on the dashcam. And the next option is gonna be default setting. If for some reason I changed something on this dashcam and now I don't know how to return it back to normal, I can always restore the factory settings and it's gonna behave just like when I got it and it was brand new. And the last item is firmware version, that shows us the current firmware or current software that the dashcam is running. But what's also pretty interesting is that if I click and hold the menu button down, instead of recording video, the dashcam is gonna change into photo mode in case we wanted to use this like a camera to take pictures. And the photo mode has its own menu settings. The very first setting is gonna be capture mode. And here we can select single shot, or we can select a self timer. In case we wanted to take a selfie, you can select between 2, 5, or 10 seconds. You can also change the resolutions of the pictures that you take with this camera as high as 12 megapixels or as low as VGA, which is 640 by 480. And you can also select burst mode. Instead of taking one frame for every picture, the camera can actually take 3 frames, which is 3 pictures every time you take a picture, if for some reason you wanted to ensure you capture that object you're trying to photograph. And you can also adjust the image quality between fine, which is the highest, the standard, or commonly, which is the lowest. If you wanted to reduce the file size, I'm gonna keep mine at the highest setting. And you can also adjust the image sharpness between soft, strong, or normal. And you can also change the white balance. You can select daylight if you're outdoors, cloudy if it's cloudy outside, tungsten if you're inside and being illuminated by tungsten lights, or fluorescent lights. However, auto seems to work out the best. Next option down is the photo effect. You can have your photos be in full color, or you can make them look artistic with the black and white option or the sepia option. And you can also select the ISO number. You can select 100, 200, 400, or you can keep it in auto. And you can also adjust the brightness of the images. Again, if they're too bright, you can decrease the brightness of your pictures up to a maximum of -2 points, or if your pictures are too dark, you can increase the brightness of those pictures by a maximum of 2 points. I'm gonna leave mine again on 0. But there are more options for the photo mode. We also have image stabilization, and we also get a quick image preview that will show us what the picture that we just took looks like, and we can select we wanna see it for 2 seconds, 5 seconds, or no preview after taking a picture. And you can also change the date timestamp that is shown on the pictures. You can turn that information off, or you can have it show just the date or the date and time. But what's also pretty interesting is we know if we hold down the menu button down, it takes us to photo mode. But if we click and hold the menu button down one more time, now it takes us to the playback mode, so we can play back our videos directly on the dashcam. But also, in addition to playing it back, we can also delete specific videos, and here I can select to delete the current video or to delete all of them. We can also select to protect the video, and if I lock the current video, it's gonna stay on here permanently until I unlock it. I could also choose to lock all the videos or unlock all the videos at once. And finally, we can also have the dashcam show us a slideshow of the pictures that we have taken, and we can have it show each picture for 2 seconds, or show each picture for 5 seconds, or show each one for 8 seconds long. So remember, I put a link in the description down below to this dashcam in case you want to get one for yourself. And now that you know how to use this dashcam to its full potential, make sure you hit the thumbs up button to support the channel. If you have any other questions regarding the Rove R2-4K, please put that in the comments down below. And stay tuned as I have a lot more dashcam videos coming up. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.